Miller. I was born in 1926. I am 87. I will be 88 years old in July. I was a sophomore in high school when World War II broke out. Was actually sitting in the study hall of our school when we heard President Roosevelt's statement about the fact that we were now in the war with the Empire of Japan. And growing up in a small town, in a school where all of us probably had been together for 12 years, made us a little inadequate to understand what it would be like to have a country at war or be involved in a country at war. Probably some of our fathers were in World War I, and we knew a little bit about that, but not a whole lot, because people didn't talk a lot about things like that back in my childhood days. But there was a lot of propaganda. The movies picked up right away with propaganda that really made us hate everything that had to do with Japan, and it worked the way they piled it on. But that was one thing, but another thing was the fact that the kids that we had been in school with for 12 years all at once were in uniform and fighting a war, and that was difficult to understand probably for them as well. We would get together and have meetings about what we could do for the war effort. People gathered metals of different kinds, iron, and products that they could reuse for war efforts of war. The factories in the area turned into war plants, and people were working for the war effort by making equipment for war rather than peace, which was sad. But at that time, I don't think there were any conscientious objectors in our area, because this war was one that we had seen our country being devastated, or knowing what happened at Pearl Harbor, making it a different picture in our minds. We had that, and we were very patriotic. We marched in the Memorial Day parade, Decoration Day parades back then, when we had our whole school marched. We all carried a flag from grades 1 till 12, and we really felt that we were being supportive in any way we knew how to be. It was devastating, and looking back on it now, to realize that the kids that we just grew up with were thrown into such kind of turmoil and terror and life-threatening, and sometimes did not come back because they were killed overseas or killed in the war, during some way in the war effort. It didn't really sink in to kids my age as it would have today, but we were behind them 100%. We waved our flags and we sang our songs, and our band tried to get people to buy war bonds, and the effort was 100%.
European orphanage in the hot zone during World War II. How do you think that would have felt?
I think it probably would have been a situation that one would never get over. It's hard to be as comfortable as I was during that time, raised in a small town in a very good home, to even think about what that would be like. But we did have movies that talked about people living, or showed people and young people having to go through that. It would be something, I think you would be constantly on the alert, not knowing what's going to happen next or when it was going to happen. You would be looking for a friend. You would be very homesick. You would not feel secure about anything, and you would certainly be hoping that somebody was going to come along and make this nightmare change. It would be really hard to just be displaced from a secure place where you happen to be all your life, and having to be just lined up with the other folk who maybe you'd never seen before in your life and would never see again. It would be probably not easy to sleep, because how could you trust if you didn't know what was going to happen next? It would be a very insecure situation, and a sad situation, and a good situation when you would find someone who would befriend you and you would feel comfortable with, and realize that you were in this together, that you weren't alone.